Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are doing a pick a card reading for your next week. So the next 5 to 7 days. This is the energy. This is when we, kind of what to expect. What kind of, again, like what kind of energy is present. And whenever we come across something that might be a little difficult energy, we always talk about strategies on getting through it, because it's not like I'm going to say, oh, this is going to happen, good luck with that. Not at all. That my readings are all about strategies on like navigating this human experience that we are all having. So pick a card readings means that you get a choice, because that's what you get in life. You get a choice. You get to choose where you go down, what path you go down, what you do. That's all up to you. And I have 3 choices here for you. 1, 2, 3. I'll be putting objects on here for a moment. You pick the card, number, object. Down below in the description, I have timestamps. So you use your intuition to choose what's right for you. Go to that reading and I use my intuition to read the cards for you. Again, pick a card reading, general reading, so take what resonates. Your discernment is your most important tool, and if any time you're like, this isn't for me, that's okay. You can choose another pile, or you can just say, see you later. I'm fine with that too. So let's pick objects here. So for group number 1, the object is this is Apatite heart. For group number 2, the object here, this is Pyrite. So there's the smooth side. I like the exposed side. And for group number 3, this is the biggest heart here. This is Picture Jasper. It has a lot of colors and swirl patterns in it, so I want you to see that. If you're still not sure which pile is for you, I'm going to do a breathing exercise, and I invite you to do that with me. So I'm just going to close my eyes and take a deep breath in. And release out any tension. Be here in this moment. Set the intention that you will hear messages that you need to hear. Go ahead and open your eyes, and wherever your eyes are drawn, 1, 2, or 3, that is the group or pile for you. So thank you, and I will see what you're reading. If you picked a group 1, this is the blue Apatite heart. The number 1, whatever drew you into it. Here's the first card that comes out, and we have Yang. So yin and yang, they go hand in hand. It's the masculine and the feminine, or the way I said it, the feminine and the masculine, because yang is masculine. The difference between masculine and femininity, at least defined in the cards, is action, taking action, doing something. This is a week for you to go after it. Sometimes we don't because we're stalling. Sometimes we're planning. Sometimes it's not the right moment. And I'm feeling like now is as good a time as any. Now is the time to act. Now is the time to go for it. First of all, a lot of times in our planning, we're thinking about scenarios that are just never going to happen. And it just keeps us from actually doing the thing we need to do. And this week, you need to act. You need to do it. The drawback to acting, to that action, to the doing, is sometimes, it takes us in the wrong direction. But I feel like it's necessary. It doesn't mean that it's a permanent situation, that you have to keep moving and moving and moving, but you certainly have to make some sort of movement to really kind of figure out where you are. This could be for some of you, I'm feeling like this could be about your New Year's resolutions. 80% of resolutions people give up on, and a lot of times it's because it sounds like it's a really good idea, but people just never really take action. A lot of times it's because we think we don't really know what we're supposed to do or what we're doing or where we're going with this. But you don't know unless you do. And it's a time for doing. It's a time for going out there. It's a time for, making some mistakes, not being worried about making mistakes. We can always bring it back to the drawing board. We can always, take another glance at it. Maybe this isn't even what you thought you wanted in the first place, but if you never start, you don't know. And I feel like we need some answers. We need to know. Ooh, look at this. Death in reverse, 8 of Swords. Yes. Time for some action because we have been sitting back. The only thing holding you back is yourself. We've got the 3 of Coins in reverse. Kind of feel like you might think like you need to do this with somebody else, but you can't find them, and that might be holding you back when we have the 3 of Coins in reverse. Death, we're kind of, this action, sometimes it means that we have to create a change and we're holding ourselves back. I see this whole side over here. Actually, I see a lot of these. This is like, what is holding you back from taking that action? We're afraid of change, and that is something that isn't surprising. Don't worry about being afraid of change. We're human. We're all afraid of change. There's a reason for that. Our ego keeps us back. Our ego likes things the way that they are, not necessarily because they're great. Your ego doesn't care about what your heart wants. Your ego doesn't care about your desires. Your ego is just trying to keep you safe. Your ego is trying to keep you in this idea of what has been I want to say accepted and expected. It's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. And it's interesting you have the devil here. We have death and the devil. Don't worry, these are actually very positive cards because it's talking about making this change that you want to. But we just have to cut the ties to what is holding us back. And you kind of maybe need to think about what's holding us back. A lot of my readings are about putting that plan in place and to thinking about things. And I kind of feel like you've been thinking a little bit too much here when we have the 8 of Swords, and you're seeing like all of these obstacles that's just keeping you into place. Now this 8 of Swords is actually really nice. It's a little cat sleeping on some flowers. You're very comfortable where you are, but if you want to make some changes, you have to get out of your comfort zone. And you see all of these perceived threats around you that just are really not even threats at all. Once you start moving, once you start doing, once you start achieving, like all of these worries are just going to kind of melt away. It's not even going to be something that's a problem. 3 of Coins reversed. This is a card about working together with other people. You can see they're building a carousel, I guess, in this instance. But they're working together. They're doing something together. When you have the 3 of Coins in reverse, I almost feel like part of your comfort zone is that, or part of what was pulling you out of your comfort zone on this is that you don't really see anybody else doing this. You don't see anybody else doing what you want to do. And that might also like keep you in this kind of cycle of you don't really know where to start. Well, good thing we have the internet. You're listening to me right now on the internet. You can just Google it, and the other thing is you get a lot of different advice from people, but just pick one and go with it. You just have to go with it and see, are they right or are they wrong? Pretend you're a critic for that person. Prove them wrong, prove them right. Make that your motivation and let that person like help you through it, even though you don't know them or you aren't working with them personally. Once you start doing, I feel like that's when you start finding that group. Let's say, for instance, a common thing for New Year's resolutions would be to lose weight, to go to the gym. If you don't have a gym buddy, oh no, I can't go. Well, all your potential gym buddies are at the gym. So if that is what's keeping you back, go there. And also, I feel like the gym is just a place where everybody is kind of like a little socially awkward anyway, because everybody thinks that they're looking at them, but really everybody's in their own little world. So don't be afraid to like join a class and just say hi. I know this is terrible for you introverts, that you might have to be the person to break the ice, but just understand, like, as uncomfortable as you might be feeling, I feel like other people are uncomfortable in that situation too. And you have to put yourself in that situation to become comfortable with it. And then we have the devil here. The devil talks about things that are holding us back. This like, it's usually kind of, the devil is often not necessarily a bat. I love this bat, by the way, but more of like a puppet master. The devil is addictions. The devil in the scenario of losing weight could be your addiction to going to Starbucks every day, your addiction to Chick-fil-A. So just think about those kinds of things that are what is holding you back. And usually it is your own self, and it is a thing of like, you just have to get over it yourself. is this what I'm saying? You have to get kind of like a mastery of your mind. You might want to take some notes here as to what is really holding you back. What is it that you're not, why are you not doing what it is that you want to do? That we have a desire, and I love the fire here in the yang, because it's like this desire that's like, I feel it in my heart here, like I really want to do this. But a lot of us, and this is nothing to be sad about, or nothing to feel bad about, because again, that statistic that the 80% of our goals or our New Year's resolutions get abandoned pretty quickly. It's now is the time to start. It's as good a time as any. And it's creating a habit. You don't have to go to the gym and be on the Stairmaster for 2 hours. No, you can go there and be on it for 5 minutes, and that's it, and call it a day. You have to create that habit, and then it starts getting easier and easier and easier. And especially when we have all of these types of blockages, when we have all of these excuses in our mind of why we're not doing the thing that we want to do. And the gym thing is just an example. It might be that you want to do something creative, like you want to learn to draw, or you want to start painting again, or you want to learn a new language. You have to start to do it, and don't be afraid to be somebody who is a little bit out of place, who doesn't know what they're doing. You have to have that before you start. Now, I want to also say, because I think that you will be successful with this once you start, that once you get down the road, part of what can help you with your motivation to keep going is to look at where you were when you started, and when you come across people who are in that same beginner situation, to be kind and friendly and help them out. Okay, so we've got the full moon eclipse in reverse, because I don't shuffle these cards in reverse, so it ended up that way. Conclusions are within reach. I see this card when it comes out in reverse as just like another blockage, because there's a lot of blockages here for you, group 1. This week is not about blockages. This week is about overcoming those blockages. So it feels like there's some things that are uncomfortable, but you've got this. Especially when you have this gibbous moon, you're very close to achieving your goals. You're very, very close, okay? And it's just about starting. And the conclusions are within reach. And it very much reminds me of this 8 of Swords energy. We have these trees kind of here in front of this this moon. If eclipses are very, very powerful. It's a powerful energy, and it's just something that, the trees are in front of the moon, something that's just blocking you from seeing your conclusions. But it's all very much within your reach. It's all very much achievable. And it's all basically just because the whole reading is like what's holding you back. Okay, the whole reading is about like, okay, we can't be afraid of change. We can't let our mind run wild here. We've got to identify the things that are holding us back. And if somebody else isn't ready to go with us, that's okay. We'll find people along the way. So this whole reading is about like kind of like what's holding you back and the solutions and the strategies to go after that. And I mean, it's this is a sign to you. Keep going or start. Just do it. Then that was my favorite thing from Nike, was the just do it. You're very, very close, and it's really, really within reach. It just requires some effort from you. And trust me, I get it. I know how difficult that is. But because I kind of feel like you're working against your mind a little bit here, these intrusive thoughts, especially with this Eight of Swords. It's a really, it's a heavy energy. We all go through it. The way to kick it is to just say, start. Oh, there's a strategy from, what is her name? Mel Robbins. And she says, like, when your alarm goes off and you don't want to get out of bed in the morning, but you know what you need to do. Okay? You know what you need to do. You're just not doing it. So she has this strategy. I forget what she calls it, but basically she counts backwards from 5. So she says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom. She just does it. So that would be like your alarm goes off, you don't want to get out of bed, you count backwards and you do it. The reason why this is successful is it breaks your current chain of thought, your current negative chain of thought, and then you can replace it with the action that you need to do. So you break that chain of thought and replace it with that action. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. It's going to be an amazing week. You just have to get started. Hello, Group 2. If you picked the Pyrite heart, you are in the right place. So let's go ahead and put that up here. And let's see what the first card is for your week. And we have Unfinished Symphony. So before you can start something new, you have to finish your unfinished business. Okay, this is something that seems like it's so easy, but so difficult at the same time. You can't start a new job unless you finish the old one. And trust me, I'm somebody who starts a new project after new project after new project. But at some point, there just becomes an overload. And it's a thing of focus. Our little brains can only take so much. We need to finish something before we start something new. So if you have for those of you who have a ton of like craft projects out there, go and finish some of them. For those of you who maybe it is something like starting a new career, you have to finish up your resume before you can start sending it out. So it's time, this is a week to polish that thing, to finish it up, to send it off. There's actually a psychological thing where it's kind of difficult to finish things, because that means then you have to find something new, or you need a new point of focus. Maybe if you're reading a book and you're finishing it, maybe it wasn't as good as you thought it was, or you just really had a great time while you were doing it. I promise you will find other beautiful things to do, okay? But you gotta get some things off of your plate. You gotta let some things go. I know if you've been watching my channel, I usually put a big push in November and December about release, because there's usually this great energy that comes in for us with the new year, because everybody is starting new things. What are those things that are, because the unfinished stuff kind of holds you back. You can't start a new relationship unless you let go of the old one. You can, but it really isn't fair to you. You really can't enjoy it, and it's not fair to the people involved either. So unfinished symphony. I also think that music is really important for you this week. Put on some old tunes. Look at that, Seven of Cups reversed. Put on some old tunes that make you feel good. Okay, and one more card here. Ooh, Lovers reversed. So yeah, it feels like, you know, we've got this, we want some opportunities to come our way. There's this great hope. I love when the Star card is out here upright, but when we've got Temperance in reverse, Lovers in reverse, Seven of Cups, yeah, you're being held back. You're being held back by those things. You got to let them go. Seven of Cups talks about opportunities, and you can see this octopus has all of these things in their arms. They've got travel, they've got a shark and a whale, which you probably don't want those things, but an octopus would. It's like jewelry and travel and all these beautiful and exciting things, but again, you have to tie up those loose ends before you have that freedom to go out and do that. And I think it'll feel really good for you to release it, to let it go. Temperance in reverse Temperance is about balance. And I love this card. It's so cute. This little, what is that? Like a muskrat is sitting on top of some ice. Well, you can't sit on top of ice unless you're balanced on there. And it talks about like the joy and balance. It talks about almost like a rest kind of period with that balance. And when you have a bunch of things that are unfinished, and you have a bunch of things that you haven't, put to bed and let go, that can occupy your mind and keep your attention away from I feel like you really need to relax. I feel like you really need to enjoy this moment. I feel like you need a moment of pause. So, and that is difficult when we have like all of these things taking up our attention. It's also kind of like this horrible cycle where we get in like, I really need a break. Yes, but I have to finish this and this and this. And it can get really super overwhelming. And that's why you got to let some things go. Either as a project where you're just like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm going to put it away. It's going to go in the closet. I'm not going to touch it. Either it is like, maybe you just moved and you have all of these boxes you need to unpack and all of these rooms are in complete disarray. Just focus on one box at a time. Just get moving, get going, pick out something where it's an easy win and you feel good and you get that completion, and possibilities will start opening up for you. But it's holding you back here as well. We have the Lovers in reverse. You might let other people know if you need help. Lovers in reverse is related to Gemini. It's about communicating with other people. So it could be these projects or these things are blocking you from maybe your social life. It could be holding you back in some way, because Lovers is really kind of like an evolutionary, like a level up. So you're being held back, group 2. I don't want you to be held back. I love the Star for you. It's also a simultaneous kind of like with the Star and the Temperance. This frog is balancing on the lily pad. I think you can see like your future of what it would look like if you just make some things simple. Just release some things, make it simple. Sometimes it's just thoughts that we need to release for that, because our minds are so complex and difficult and very, very hard on us. For that, I suggest writing it down, what it is that's going on in your mind. And that a lot of times is enough to help you let it go so that you can move on, or so that you can have a moment of peace and relax. maybe it is something where you just need to be like, I'm going to put all this stuff down right now and I'm going to go get my nails done. Or I'm going to put all this stuff down right now and I'm going to go, and you can take breaks in here too. But I really feel like once you start kind of, because I'm getting this feeling that it can be out of control for some of you, or at least it is occupying your thoughts to the point where it's causing some anxiety, and that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. What we're looking for is this idea of the frogs here in the star, that we're getting some freedom. The star card also, it's a major arcana card. It comes right after the tower. The tower is a moment where everything just comes crashing down. I feel like you don't need that. I feel because the tower just kind of like happens when we've got a buildup of too much, and it just comes crashing down and is really kind of out of our control. You have a point right now where you can control it. Put on some music, enjoy yourself, put some things away, finish some things up, really tidy things up, and let's start to begin this new year right. We can always have a new beginning. Let's see, group 2. I'm just going to get 2 more cards here. Let's see what we have for messages. Believe in the impossible, blue moon. I think we're having a blue moon this year too. So you may have heard of that saying, once in a blue moon. Blue moons happen every 2 years. And a blue moon is just two full moons within a calendar month. Because the moon, the moon cycle is 28 days. So full moons occur every 28 days. It's kind of a rare occurrence, but it is something that reminds us that anything can happen and will. I feel like if you feel a little bit out of control here, that you might need to ask for some help, and that's okay. Nothing is yet set in stone. And this is the mutable moon. So that just means that, everything is a fluid situation, and we can wake up tomorrow to a completely different circumstance and situation. You don't have to plan out everything, because again, everything is fluid. And if you try to plan things out, it just takes a lot of control. Okay, so that might be something that you need to give up, that idea that you are in control of everything. Control the controllables, and the things that you are not in control of, you just kind of have to accept it. And this is where I was watching a video about somebody who says that reading the Bible every day for her is really calming, because she is somebody who is kind of a control freak, and it's just a reminder that there's something bigger in than herself, and it's kind of like a trusting that there's a grand design or a grand plan out there. You don't have to control everything. You can certainly set into motion things that you want, and you can look forward to things that you want. But I can tell you from experience that there are some things that I just wanted so bad. And when I didn't get them, I was very, very upset, very, very sad. And then all of a sudden, like, boom, the next day I got something that was way better than anything that I had in my head, or anything that was within what I thought was in control. And I feel like that's a message that you need to hear, group 2. So I feel like you need to simplify some things. I feel like you need to go with the flow, go with the music, listen to the beat. Your beat can be different than other people's. Don't compare yourself to them. But yeah, a lot of release here. A lot of release. A lot of letting go. so that you can just relax and allow. So that's what I have for you, Group 2. Hope that you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 3. This is Picture Jasper. And if you picked this, it's huge. It's the big one. The big heart, if you have a big heart, this is your card. So truth be told, I was like, if you have a big heart, because there's an open window to your soul on this. I feel like the truth be told card is not only like having integrity and speaking the truth to others, it's also about seeing the truth about yourself and your situation and about others. People will tell you who they are, and there's more than one way to communicate. And a lot of ways, when I say that somebody will tell you how they are, it's more really about their actions than what they actually tell you. You know, so eyes wide open here. I love that it is an owl because there's a certain amount of wisdom that you need for that. There's also, like, the owl is sitting on top of this gold mask. Communication here is a big one. So paying attention to communication. What is it that you are actually projecting to? If you keep coming into a situation with maybe a potential boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, and they keep thinking you aren't serious, like you get into, you know, they keep thinking one thing about yourself, and you're like, well, that's not true. What is it though that you are projecting? What is it that you are saying with your body language? What is it that you are telling people? And be open and honest with yourself on this. That's important. Another message about this is, let's say for instance, you want to be something, you want to do something, you want to be an artist, and you tell everybody under the sun, because this happens a lot. I see this so many times with people. If you want to do something, you'll do it. If you want to do something, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you will find an excuse. So are you finding excuses as to why this isn't working out? Or are you finding opportunities? And that is huge here. I'm not, you have to be honest with yourself here on this, because yeah, I'm just thinking of people around me. There's a lot of people who will talk about being in very dire situations, and there are solutions. There's a ton of solutions, and they just make an excuse around every single one of those solutions as to why they can't do it. But at some point you have to realize that you're the one blocking you, and it usually is that way, that you are the one blocking you and it's not other people. So I think taking responsibility for yourself too. And when I'm saying you're the one blocking you, there's a lot of blocked energy in here. I feel like being, like this card, truth be told, it's just open, but obstacles here in these cards are all reversed. So when I see I don't read all reversals. My rule that I have for myself in my readings is that when I see that, I know that I need to turn these cards around. But and with truth be told, I feel like there's some excuses. You're just not there yet. You're not seeing it. And the reason why, I think, starts with the World card. I think you're holding on to something, a cycle from the past. I don't think you're looking forward or looking out to the future the way that you should. Sorry, group 3. I feel like some of this is going to be brutal honesty here, but again, I feel like this is necessary and is really helpful. We have the Hangman and the Two of Swords. I love that we have the owls on these. It's just a confirmation here that I love using different decks, because I feel like even with completely different imagery, we do have like a lot of cross symbolism that, you know, as a symbol, as a sign to me that we're on the right track. And you are on the right track, so don't feel discouraged. It's just going back to that finding a way rather than an excuse. When somebody offers you something, are you not taking it? Are you not putting the effort in as your first reaction to be like, no, I can't do that because blah, blah, blah. Is it true, or are you just holding yourself back? And when I see all the cards in reverse, I kind of feel like you're holding yourself back here. I do this myself, so there's no judgment here in this group 3. And in fact, I see everybody does this. There's a reason why we have this thing that's called an ego. And everyone has it, and it likes to keep us on the path that we're on. Even if our heart tells us, even if our head tells us, even if our desires tell us that we don't want that path, that we want to do something else, the ego is the one who makes the excuses. And you are bigger than just your ego, okay? The Hanged Man here, to me, is taking a moment to pause. Like, let's hit the brakes here. Let's pause. Let's think about the things that are coming out of our mouth. Let's examine the thoughts that are going on in our head. A lot of these things, and I feel like this could be breaking some generational curses here, okay? And what I mean by that is when you say, oh, I can't do that because, is it something your parents would say? Like, have you heard your mom say that 1,000 times? The world is completely different from that. And you think about like these excuses that get repeated just because of the way that one person sees the world. Like, they put restrictions on other people as they hear it, or as they, you know, when you're growing up. Like, a lot of these things are just conditioned to you as a child. It's not your fault, okay? But it is your fault if you let it keep you holding you back, because we've got now the Hangman card, which means we need to watch this. We need to watch what we're saying. We need to watch our thoughts. We need to be an observer of that, because next is the Emperor. The Emperor is somebody who stands up and takes responsibility, even if it's something that, like, you could easily make an excuse for. You could easily be in like a victim mentality, like, well, because this bad thing happened to me at this point, I can't do, you know. Yeah, I'm sorry, that sucks. But what are you going to do about it now? You can't let it keep hurting you. You can't let it keep harming you. And the Two of Swords is telling me you have some choices. I love this Two of Swords with the eyes closed, because all that you need to do is open your eyes to see these choices. The Two of Swords can also indicate that you need to allow the communication to come in. You need to allow these ideas to come in. Maybe you need to sit with it for a while for you to be comfortable with it. But the Emperor is going to examine these things. The Emperor is going to take responsibility, and the Emperor is going to take action. And that is ultimately what you need to do. Now, you don't have to be reactive, and what I mean by that is just take action to take action. You don't have to be like that at all. And in fact, when we have the Hanged Man here, it indicates that you take a very thoughtful action. You take an action that you have seen the full spectrum of possibilities, and the choice that you're making in the Two of Swords is the choice that it aligns with your heart and your head, and it is the movement that you need to do for you. So, sorry, group 3. Sorry, not sorry, because after this week, you're going to be in a much, much better position, especially embracing this Emperor energy and moving forward here in your choices. Okay. we've got, look at this. Yes. Yes. I feel like you've been holding back. Oh, whoops. I'm throwing cards over here. I feel like you've been holding back. I feel like you've been holding back the real you. Again, you need to see yourself for who you are, because you've got this beautiful, complex mind. And I almost feel like you've been holding back because you're afraid to step out of I don't know why would you be afraid to shine? You're wonderful. The Aquarius, this is a full moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is the most probably independent sign there is out there. You have to be, you know, and the truth be told, the communication, don't be afraid to tell people who you are and what you want. And that is going to help help you find it. We also have luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius. So new moons are new beginnings, okay? And this feels beautiful and fresh and very, like, look at this arrow. It's a very action-oriented thing. It's time to take action. It's time to step up and shoot your shot. What is it that you want to do? Sagittarius is a fire sign. Fire sign is about action. But it is taking like an action for your desire. So this feels really good here in the end. I also feel like the choice that you make is the right choice for you. So don't worry about that. You're going to make the right choice. And when you do, even if you get into it and you're like, oh, I don't know about this, don't worry. You've got this. It doesn't matter if you are out. I kind of feel like this is something kind of out of the norm. And that's why you haven't taken action yet. But out of your comfort zone. But it's time. It's really time to let your true self shine. It's time to start taking those actions, start seeing those opportunities, and to let go of excuses. You're not an ordinary person. You're very extraordinary, group 3. You're an extraordinary person, and it's actually harming you more not going after this, not going after your dreams, not putting it out there, not doing these things that you want to do, than the action that it would take to do them. Even though it requires, what you want to do requires effort. I don't feel like there's I don't feel like there's lazy here. It's not, it's just, you know, you're being held back, but you're holding yourself back. So that's what I have for you, group 3. I hope that you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next reading.